Well, are they legitimate refugees, or are they using lies of persecution to seek greener pastures?
Yes, I am white. Yes, I have green eyes. But no, I'm not European. I'm African. And to every white South African, especially Afrikaners, stop clinging to the West. The future hasn't been there in over 400 years. And those Afrikaners who fled in 49 thinking they'd escape Africa, they died the day they left. Their children aren't Afrikaans, they're American. Their culture, buried. Their identity, lost. You do not preserve a culture by running. You preserve a culture by evolving. If you really care about being Afrikaans, about your blood, about your identity, about your children, then your future is in African unity. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to become part of Africa's direction, or you will be wiped out by history. Just like any settler who thought they could live on borrowed time. Pan-Africanism isn't just for black people. It's to anyone committed to the land, the people, and the future of Africa. The next war is already here. The war of ideas fought in our soil, over our resources, and over the direction of Africa. It's time to stop being settlers and start being African.
So listen, before I go to sleep, I need to tell you guys this, okay? So I chatted with someone from South Africa who is Afrikaner today, and who is going to be applying to come to the United States. And she was trying to explain her plight because she was seeing that a lot of people do not want Afrikaners over here as refugees, okay? And I'm going to strictly say that. They don't want Afrikaners. We don't want Afrikaners over here as refugees with refugee status. Okay, so she continues to explain herself, and she does not mention anything about genocide. She doesn't mention anything about someone taking her land from her. She doesn't mention any of that as to the reason why she plans on coming to America with her children. This is the reason that she gave, which is not a qualification for a refugee status. Okay, she said that she couldn't find a job. Not only did she say she couldn't find a job, but she said she couldn't find a job because of her race. She believed she couldn't find a job because of her race. And she also believed that her children did not have a future in South Africa. That doesn't qualify to be a refugee. That honestly does not work. Do you know how many people in the United States of America can't find work? Do you know how many people just lost their jobs in the United States of America because of this administration? I mean, do they have refugee status? Can they fly anywhere and be like, oh, okay, well then, give me food, clothing, shelter, and everything, and your government needs to pay for it because we're refugees because we can't find a job here in the United States of America. Now, I'm not going to lie. She was like, I don't have anything against my people in South Africa, nor do I, and I'm not racist. I'm just Afrikaner, and I just want to find a job. But I said, but you're not a refugee. Not because not because you can't find a job. Simply because you can't find a job, you think you're a refugee? If that's the case, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make you a refugee. She said nothing about any of the quote unquote genocide, any of the, oh my gosh, all she said was she couldn't find a job.
Whatever your answer, the first cohort of Afrikaners have now officially left South African shores and have arrived on American soil. The American government-chartered flight carrying around 49 South Africans left Joburg yesterday, and they touched down at Dulles International in Washington, D.C. earlier this evening. They will then proceed to the red state of Texas. They've taken up Donald Trump's invitation to seek refugee status, claiming that Afrikaners are victims of genocide, although there are no statistics to back up that claim.
There's no data at all that backs that there's persecution of white South Africans or white Afrikaners, to be more particular. The police statistics which they are prepared to share and release don't back it. And also white farmers do get affected by crime, just like any other South African. We are glad that a number of organizations even from Afrikaner structures, have denounced this so-called persecution. They have stated that where there are challenges, there are platforms to resolve them within the South African context, which makes this a domestic issue.
President Cyril Ramaphosa also weighed in. Speaking from Cote d'Ivoire, where he's on an official visit, the president revealed some of the conversation he had over the phone with his U.S. counterpart. Ramaphosa says he told Trump that those who wish to flee the country were a fringe grouping who yearn for the days of apartheid and were anti-transformation.
I said to him, I would never do that. I learned at the feet of Nelson Mandela, and we intend to proceed with the implementation of our constitutional architecture. And I thought in my conversation with him early in the morning at 4 o'clock South African time, he understood that. And I said, I'd like to come and meet him so that we can discuss this matter further. So those people who have fled are not being persecuted, they are not being hounded, they are not being treated badly, and they are leaving ostensibly because they don't want to embrace the changes that are taking place in our country in accordance with our constitution.
Right now, I'm in the jungle of Africa. I'm coming here to watch the birds with my sweet camera. Yes. And let's talk about Africa and another fake name called Afrikaners. So Afrikaners are not Africans, but they call themselves Afrikaners. We call ourselves Africans, not Naz. We don't have that Naz. So these fake Africans, the Afrikaners, I don't mean to call them fake. Well, Trump told them they are white, of course, and they live in South Africa. They came to South Africa as settlers, and they landed in South Africa as they were coming to refresh themselves, and refreshing themselves, they found how the Cape of Good Hope was fine. They extended to Cape Town, found it more fine, and they decided, no way, we are not going home. Enough with the exploration, we are living here. And that is how they ended up in South Africa. That was many, 3-4 centuries ago. Today, their descendants Trump is claiming that they are facing genocide. They are being targeted by the black majority of South Africa, according to Trump. But that is not the case. Nobody is targeting Afrikaners. As a matter of fact, the Afrikaners are so much privileged than the average African, And now, the Afrikaners are having trouble, according to Trump, they're having trouble. And the trouble is that they feel targeted. Reforms such as the one which was placed by Julius Malema, it was still a proposal. It was a proposal to bring back land to the nation of South Africa, to the government of South Africa. So it was to nationalize the lands. There will be no privatization of lands. And also, Julius Malema was singing that song. You know that song? Sing the farmer, sing the Boer. You know how it goes. Now Trump is calling them, telling them to come back. But I think Trump is just lying, Trump is lying. Trump is creating a big image of the Messiah. He's trying to make himself the Messiah, which he really ain't. Trump can never be the Messiah. If there's someone who was brutal to humanity, it's Trump. The same Trump was the one who was deporting people months ago. He was doing headlines, mass deportation, cleanse America. Now he's pretending to call the Afrikaners. This is just full pretense. And people are reacting, black people are reacting, they are sharing their thoughts. I want us to listen to them, get to know their stand on Afrikaners. Afrikaners with the K, not C. Yeah? Let's listen to what Africans have to say about the Afrikaners who are being called to USA. I shall get back by the end of the video where I shall give you my thoughts and have a critical analysis.
Trust and believe. If they boarded that flight with the belief that they're going to come and take some farmland from some Americans, if those white Afrikaners boarded that flight with the belief that they're going to take some farmland from any American, white or black, they don't know Americans. Remember that. They don't know Americans. So I wouldn't even worry about that. Because not a white American nor a black American is getting ready to let some Afrikaners roll up on their farmland and take it. You better believe that. It don't work like that over here. Different rules. Different rules. It don't work like that over here. No, ma'am. It'll be a cold day.
So the Afrikaners, they finally got what they wanted. You could see the smiles on their face. They're so happy to be in America. And this whole thing, it was so controversial. Many black South Africans, they were saying that these Afrikaners, they were living in privilege. But these people, they're saying that they are being brutally attacked, especially on their farms. And now, even Trump is saying that these attacks are happening. Look,
the genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa, and the newspapers and the media, television media doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they talk about it. That would be the only story they talk about.
what do you guys think about this? Trump, he signed that executive order back in February, but now we're finally seeing the first wave of Afrikaners arriving in the US. I personally think Elon Musk, he asked Trump for a favor. That's why this is all happening. But what do you think? Comment below.
So let me get this straight. Trump banned Muslims, caged black and brown kids, and called Haiti a shithole, but somehow he's rolling out the carpet for white South Africans, who, mind you, claim they're being oppressed by the very people that they oppressed for generations. This is not refugee policy. It's plantation nostalgia, dressed up as immigration reform. This entire push to rescue South African farmers is built on a narrative, not facts. Yeah, there's some violence in South Africa. Yeah, some white farmers have been attacked. But the majority of the victims, they're not white. And the attacks aren't racially targeted. They're part of a broader crime crisis. South Africa has deep issues, yes. But this ain't some ethnic cleansing of white people. This lie got amplified by conservative media, white nationalist forums, and people who think land redistribution is oppression. When really, it's just justice knocking on the door. So let's be honest about what this really is. It's America offering comfort to people who feel uncomfortable with equality. That's it. Because these so-called refugees are being fast-tracked for protection. Black asylum seekers from war-torn nations are being detained, deported, and ignored. They're not being offered farms and safety. They're being offered ice and silence. This has never been about safety. It's about whiteness being treated like it's in danger anytime it's not in power. But here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to let people run from the consequences of apartheid, land here, and act like they're victims of a woke world gone mad. No. You don't get to gentrify racial trauma across borders. You don't get to weaponize your discomfort with progress and call it persecution. And if you're feeling displaced by land reform, good, because the land wasn't yours to begin with. So if you think Trump's weak attempt to play savior gives you the green light to come over here and start disrespecting people, think again, because the rest of us, we don't play like that. Go find you something safe to do, because bringing apartheid to a new zip code is the fastest way to find out this ain't the America you thought you were walking into. Stay safe.
So y'all want me to believe Trump is putting America first by allowing white Afrikaners to be refugees to come here to these United States of America and be provided housing, a cell phone, food, diapers, all that. Meanwhile, we have veterans homeless. We have American taxpayers struggling. And you want me to believe he's not racist either, because God knows he's deporting undocumented taxpayers, okay? He's deporting babies who are 2 years old and can't fend for themselves, so they got to go with the family. They got deported, okay? Mind you, he's deporting people with visas who went through the legal process, but still getting rid of them. But we're going to invite these white Afrikaners here to America, and we're gonna give you all the things you need. But he's not racist, and he's putting America first. That's the nation that I'm living in right now. That's the nonsense that you guys continue to speak, and the goalpost constantly moves. Y'all have no foundation of morals, of anything. You don't.
The racists are assembling like the Avengers. And folks can say that they resting, they sitting it out, this not our fight. But these are your resources that these white folks from South Africa are about to take. Resources that you can't even get access to. Mind you, they're calling these people who colonized one area of the world refugees. Was Poland not available? Is France closed? Folks can complain, cry, scream, and throw up about the election all they want, but it's May. What you finna do about it? Because the last thing I'm doing is expecting any other group of folks to put it on the line for us. They can't even get the protest part right. They're monetizing off of movement work with no actual movement.
So South African farmers are fleeing to America because they allege that they are dealing with violence. And I'm confused because Donald Trump just gave them a fast track to become a U.S. citizen. He called what's happening over there genocide. Genocide? So we gotta be all the way real here. Why them? Why do they get the fast track over here to become citizens? There's people all over the world that's dealing with worse conditions than this. Refugees from wars, famines, real genocide. But they're not getting this special treatment like them. No, sir. So what makes this different for Donald Trump? This clearly looked like favoritism. The ultimate protection for the complexion. Trump, the same person that was trying to ban certain people from coming over here from over there. Y'all remember? Now all of a sudden we got this open door. He feels so bad about them. When, like I said, there's a whole lot of people going through it, not just them. Somebody make this make sense. Y'all telling me I'm tripping? Do y'all think I'm tripping?
Y'all, don't worry about these white South Africans coming here. They about to be the new help. You heard me. They are about to be the new help. They got rid of all the people tending the land. All the immigrants that were tending the land are gone. So what they about to do, replace them with the white South African workers. Y'all gonna be working to feed black folks. As y'all should. Get y'all asses over here and do y'all goddamn job. Y'all think y'all getting away from us. Y'all not. Y'all just gonna be working for us. Come on in the room. See, Trump knew he couldn't get our asses out there. There's no way in hell you're gonna get black folks out there to work no kind of land. But he could say, hey, these South Africans are being suppressed. Their land is being taken away from them. They need to come over here and seek retribution. And get y'all asses in the field where the fuck y'all belong. Make sure y'all picking every fucking vegetable and don't miss out on anything. Y'all not getting away from black folks. Y'all gonna be around us a lot more. And unlike the ones in South Africa, we don't give a fuck. You're not gonna be able to call us colored. You're gonna get your dome rocked. So be careful, tread lightly. And remember, we don't see you as African. We see you as colonizers of an apartheid. Welcome to America.
I think there's some misunderstanding about the Afrikaners. They're coming in with P1 refugee status, which means they have the same rights and the same benefits as any American walking around. I would not even be surprised if the administration fast-tracks their citizenship, which means they get SSI checks, $800. They get housing, SNAP, and Medicaid. As they kick the majority of you off in the red states, as they kick y'all off, they're going to put them on. As they cut your SNAP, they're going to give them full benefits. As they cut your SSI, SSDI, some of y'all get like $500. They're going to give them the full benefit that they would get. See what racism, patriarchy, and fear gets you? It gets you fucked up. There is a reason the Episcopalian Church refused to help them, because they were never facing a genocide. They weren't facing discrimination either, but they were fleeing discrimination. Well, so you come to a country that discriminates? That we had rules put in place so that we couldn't be discriminated against? Oh yeah, that's right. They discriminate against the right kind of people. The only thing that happened to you in Africa is that you were being held accountable for the shit that your generations did. And you didn't like that. You didn't like that. You didn't like that black people had a say. But that's okay. You're going to learn here that black people have a say. And you're going to learn here that there's a special kind of black, and then there's a special kind of white here. Whites that love black people. Whites that are married to black people. And you're going to learn the hard way. You are. There will be no apartheid America. Because the man that you entrusted with your life is only going to be president, probably at max 2 years, before we're able to get him out. And then we're going to come and we're going to look at you. And we're going to deal with you. And then we're going to deal with his entire administration by putting them all in jail.
The white South African people, and I say that loosely, that I've had to deal with on this app for being completely just abhorrent, literally are in their nanny boo-boo stage of racism. And you see, I'm 40 years old, and I dealt with that back when I was 5, 6, 7. So while people are saying, oh, you better watch out, they're just so the worst of the worst, and it's like, yeah, we've been there. Like, we're the blueprint for this. Their little nanny boo-boo, stick your head in doo-doo stuff. Yeah, that's child's play over here.
They're running from black folks. That's what they're running from. They're running from black folks, and they're coming over here to meet more black folks. People voted out their own people. So that's what happened. So the Latinos, a certain group of Latinos had enough votes to vote out their own people so that Trump could bring in some Afrikaners and claim they're, refugees. They're running from something. The way y'all need to stop falling for this racist stuff is crazy. Y'all don't have enough black friends. Y'all really don't have enough ethnic black American friends. Y'all don't. Y'all don't. And it shows.
This is for the Americans. If you're not an American, feel free to watch, but please try and get it to the Americans. My name is Bianca van Wyk, born in South Africa, live in South Africa. Today you will be welcoming the so-called white Afrikaans refugees. They are there based on an offer made to them, which I must say was informed by disinformation about South Africa. Now, I've seen a lot of takes on who Americans think they are receiving. Okay, you are not getting successful, professional, white, middle class South Africans that are fleeing South Africa. The people you are getting are the people that believe that there is discrimination against them based on their race. Keep in mind, we live in the most unequal country in the world. We have, for instance, 70% of agricultural land and agricultural holdings are owned by white South Africans. 62 to 68% of top leadership positions in corporate are filled by white males. There is a huge salary disparity between white South Africans and the rest of the population. And there are a number of other indicators which shows you that this story of discrimination based on race is false. Another thing that I wanted to say is that you will get certain so-called refugees that have experienced crime. However, in South Africa, no one is exempt. These people that you are welcoming assume because they're white they should not experience crime. The people most affected by crime in South Africa happen to be black people that live in poverty. So as you open your doors and welcome people, and you're going to get a lot of information and disinformation from these people, please do keep that in mind. Oh, I also would like to say all the best and good luck to the Americans.
So I have a question for you before I relay my verdict or relay my verdict, whichever way you choose. See, many people are very proud of speaking English. They forget that English is not an African language. Don't judge intelligence by how fluent of English you speak. I judge intelligence by the clarity of your thought, not the eloquence of your speech. So my question is this. You see, the cockroach should never meddle in the fight of the fowls. In a fowl fight, the cockroach should never meddle. It should not even attempt to come and bring peace. You know, first of all, you know that a cockroach is a delicacy, is a food for the fowls. So guess who the cockroach is here? Who's the roach here? Maybe you know, maybe you don't. But I look back and I look at this whole situation of the Afrikaners, Trump, and America. And I'm thinking, is it really the place for black Americans to think, to speak, to react? Is it really in their place? Right? Or is the black Americans the cockroach? Or are black Americans part of the fowls which are fighting? Right? You see, as much as the white person is a member of the United States of America, legally, in which we call it citizen, the legal term, the black person is also legally a member of the United States of America by birth, mostly by birth, you know. So that makes them citizens of USA. And whatever affects USA will eventually, if not now, affect them. So black people should, must, and will always give and try, will always try to give their thoughts, their solutions to a problem that is facing them. In the US right now, Trump is welcoming the Afrikaners. His reasons, I highly doubt Trump's reason to welcome them, because a man, whichever man, he always has two reasons to do something. He has the real reason and he has the good reason. For Trump, the good reason is he is trying to protect his people according to his point of view. Let's try and look at it from Trump's point of view. He's trying to save his kinfolk, right? But what's the real reason? Trump is creating a good image of himself. He's creating that image of Messiah. He's painting black leaders in South Africa to be bad people, to be people who are not champions of peace, to be people who are not members of the human race, of the unity that comes from people living together in diversity. If there is someone who does not know how to live in diversity, we know who those people are. They are not Africans. So you know who those people are. I'm looking back, I'm thinking, Africans, African Americans, we people have suffered a lot, right? I don't think there's any harm in welcoming those people to USA. The hypocrisy is when how many of black people are suffering and Trump can't do the same for them. Why? This is just hypocrisy. It's an hypocrisy of the highest order. It's an hypocrisy of colorism, a hypocrisy based on racism. And I don't buy, I don't subscribe to Trump's real reason. He's doing a good thing, but he has a reason behind it. So me, I don't subscribe for the real reason, but I subscribe for the good reason. Remember, a man has two reasons to do something: a good reason and a real reason. Yes. Now, share your thoughts. Let's continue this discussion in the comment section. Give your thoughts and ideas on what you think. I shall get back in another video. See you in the next one.